Privates First Class Anthony Kaho'oano and Henry Savala. Though stirred by news of the past 24 hours, we pause in these moments to remember the heroic combat actions taken by these two soldiers on the Korean Peninsula some 60 years ago. Both Anthony and Henry responded fearlessly against an enemy onslaught and saved the lives of their fellow soldiers.
Private First Class Anthony Kaho'oano. Tony grew up in Hawaii, in Maui. Tony was a tall guy. He loved Hawaii, swimming in the ocean, playing basketball. Sounds like my kind of guy. His squad was near a village called Chupari when they came under a ferocious attack. With the enemy advancing, with his men outnumbered, Tony made a decision. He ordered his squad to fall back and seek cover. And then Tony did something else. He stayed behind. Machine gun in hand, he laid down fire so his men could get to safety. He was one American soldier alone against an approaching army. When Tony was wounded in the shoulder, he fought on. He threw grenade after grenade. When his weapon ran out of ammunition, he grabbed another. And when he ran out of ammo, he reached for the only thing left, a shovel. That's when the enemy overran his position. And in those final moments, the combat was hand-to-hand. It was that bravery, that courage of a single soldier that inspired his men to regroup, to rally, and to drive the enemy back.
Private First Class Kaho'oano's extraordinary heroism and selfless devotion to duty are in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the 7th Infantry Division, and the United States Army.
About the time that Tony was inspiring his men, another young soldier was joining up with the 7th Infantry Division in Korea, Private First Class Henry Savala. He grew up in New Jersey. He loved fishing on the Jersey shore. He was one of 6 kids and the youngest son, but the one who seemed to take care of everybody else. That June of 1952, the heat was unbearable. The monsoon rains and mosquitoes were relentless, but the 7th Infantry Division pushed on, probing enemy lines, fighting bunker by bunker, hill by hill. And as Henry and his company neared the top of one hill, the rocky slopes seemed to explode with enemy fire. His unit started to falter, and that's when Henry made his move. He stood up, he looked ahead, and he charged forward into a hail of bullets. Those who were there described how he kept firing his weapon, kept hurling grenades, and how, even after being wounded in the face, he refused medical attention and kept leading the charge. It's when an enemy grenade landed among his men. Every human instinct, every impulse would tell a person to turn away. But at that critical moment, Henry Savala did the opposite. He threw himself on that grenade. And with his sacrifice, he saved the lives of his fellow soldiers.
Private First Class Vala's extraordinary heroism and selflessness at the cost of his own life, above and beyond the call of duty, are in keeping with the highest traditions of the military service and reflect great credit upon himself, his unit, and the United States Army.